good. You're good. I'm good.
Yep.
At Backside Attack.
At Sabe.
Provincial. We're inside today.
Yes.
Instead of being outside.
Yes.
Like we were last time.
This is kind of a return to norm.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of feels nice to be inside a place where, like nobody's all completely masked up.
Yeah, and you see
mummified.
Random strangers just walking in the back. Well, you can see some of them, but like they're.
But this is our buddy's place.
Yep.
Our buddy's plural.
He's right there.
He's right behind us.
Yep.
Yanni's back there right now.
Mm-hmm.
Where he was gracious enough to let us sit down and watch the UFC over here and talk about it.
Yep.
So we're gonna do like a bit of a pre-show, I think, and then we'll move in from a pre-show into the main show. We'll watch it and then we'll wrap afterwards.
Yeah.
So that'll be kind of fun to get an idea of like a before, during, after type dealing there.
Absolutely.
I think you're dropping me with like co-host dead air here. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm up for it.
I had earlier, we were going to talk, there's a song on the radio. It's Hall & Oates.
Out of touch?
Was that what it was? I don't think it's Out of Touch. It was, I don't know, it was one of the happier ones. Because Out of Touch is kind of dark, right? Like you're out of touch, you're out of time.
Yeah.
Isn't that, yeah, it's a little bit darker. Out of Touch
Yeah. They're playing Out of Touch right now, right?
They're playing it right now?
Yeah, they're playing it right now, yeah.
I don't know, I can't hear anything with these, the new cans on. But they had
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
They had a Hall & Oates song on earlier, a long time ago when I was driving mail route. I was driving a mail route for a medical delivery service. There's this dude, I can't remember what his name was. It was like Chad or Chris or something like that. Super nice guy. But like not the kind of guy you would assume was like a rock and roller.
Yep.
And he was going to bring his MacBook. He had like a brand. At that time, MacBooks weren't like a big deal. Like if people had them, they had money.
Yeah.
You know, it was like you were either a screenwriter or like, you were a student with rich parents.
Yeah.
Mom and dad bought you a MacBook. And he's going to bring the MacBook to show me how Windows boot up happened. But he had a lot of songs on it, and a lot of them were Hall & Oates songs. So he had tons of Hall & Oates. But then while we're driving around, he set his MacBook on, and he's playing all the Hall & Oates, and then he starts singing along to it. I swear to God, the guy had a voice of an angel.
Oh, yeah.
It was incredible how good his voice was.
Well, if you can sing Out of Touch with heart, I think that's you're gonna pick up women whether you like it or not.
I felt like this is the kind of guy who goes to karaoke, sings Hall & Oates, and then like in Hall & Oates, like a management team is there and hears him. They're like, you know what?
Yeah, man, like we need some help. We need to resurrect those guys' careers.
Hall's in trouble, so we're gonna get Chad from Edmonton to come and sing the Hall & Oates with this guy.
Yeah, Hall's doing porn. We got to get him out of there.
Oh my goodness. Well, last time we came down here to try to do the UFC episode, it was packed.
Yeah,
that was a big fight.
Yeah, that was the Poirier and McGregor fight.
The big fight field.
Yeah, which turned into a goddamn fiasco.
Total gong show. Yeah,
it was so loud in here.
It was so loud the mics were just like tapping out.
Yeah, there's no way we could have shot at that point. And
no.
And then when McGregor went down, this place just erupted.
It was either pro or con.
Yeah, it was like for us, it was for our table, it was
pro.
Pro.
I mean, because there was a lot of really negative trash talk.
Yeah, and then there was and the table next to us was like there was a ton of brown guys, and they were just like doing that little what's that
the ole ole ole.
Yeah, that they're saying ole ole ole.
They were doing the ole ole thing because like Europe, GSP.
Yeah.
The ole ole,
yeah.
And then McGregor's leg went, and it was dead quiet.
Yeah, but these are brown guys from Mill Woods. Like
they don't know. They don't know why they're making the ole ole.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, I just don't like. I think like Conor McGregor still has a big fan base, but like now it's like you have to question yourself. Like, why do you? I understand why people like him because he's boisterous, but like there's a point where you're just like, why do you even like? This guy's he's a pure scumbag.
At some point, you have to understand that Conor McGregor is kind of he's falling into the character.
Yeah.
Like when you watch Chael and Chael would do all the trash
he's
talk.
turning into Iron Sheik.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
Iron Sheik now seems like not the kind of guy you'd want to hang around with.
No.
He's become the gimmick.
Yeah, if he gets you down, he's gonna like do like unspeakable horrors to you sexually.
Well, I mean, at this point, I don't think he can because his legs don't work anymore.
Yeah, that's true. But he did to Spenny and Kenny versus Spenny.
He did.
Yeah, because he's totally like entrenched in his character. Like, yeah.
I think it was like Chael or somebody made a good point. It's like we got some fruit flies coming our way. Chael made a good point about you mark out your own gimmick, like to use wrestling terms. The idea that like if you're a mark, like a con has a mark.
Yeah. And
then the fans are either marks or they're smarks. They're smart marks.
Yeah.
But like the smart marks kind of knew that Chael was doing a gimmick.
Yeah.
That, he's, especially like Joe Lauzon kind of blew it from the first time in like an aerial interview, I think.
Yeah.
He's like, he's full of shit. It's a character. He's a super nice guy. He's a good dude. And then when they were doing the embedded stuff and the older versions of the embedded, you could kind of see, like, when he's a kid, Chael's actually a pretty decent guy.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't say quite the same for Connor.
No.
He's marking out his own gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of becoming like a dumpster fire.
Yeah, he's Chael. But the thing is about Chael is like he never swore, ever.
I don't recall him being like that.
No, yeah, he said that goes, my number one rule is that I never swear.
Yeah.
And he said, like, and I know where to draw the line.
I could believe that from the kind of character he is.
And then he said, but when it comes to, like, Connor, he's like, I don't know where the line is. So,
yeah. I have no idea what the, where to stop.
Yeah, all good.
Oh, we're all good.
Oh,
we have Gabby helping out.
We have Gabby helping out here.
Yeah, sooner or later we're going to get her in the frame on a microphone, and she's going to be on the show for a little bit later on. But for now, we're good. Thank you, Gabby.
Yeah,
awesome.
We're all good, yeah.
So, I mean, at what point do you realize that, it's Dark Knight.
Yeah.
You know, you either die the hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah, it's because, like, Connor's just, like, well, the thing is, like, there's no one to, like, tell him no.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, who does, right?
When you have that much money, it's like, I can do whatever I want.
He can do what he wants. His family won't tell him no. They're living off his fat 100 mil.
Yeah,
if Mayweather money.
Yeah, exactly. Or if not more now, because he sold his liquor brand.
His Proper 12 is gone. That was, you were saying, was a pretty big sale too, right? That wasn't like a.
Well, from what I heard, like, but we'll have to we can do
research that.
Research that, but like, yeah, it's like he, you know, it's I'm sure he made a ton of money off that. So
it's like Marvel Comics money.
Yeah, like he doesn't need to work anymore.
No, I mean, well, he should maybe make some. Like, buy some property, get some rental properties. He should have a couple of VRBOs just in case, because, like, people who have that kind of money and go full hillbilly.
Yeah.
Like, there are countless stories of fighters out there, Mike Tyson, now being a really good example, who they live that character so large, and they do not invest. They don't have rental properties. Next thing you know, you hear about them being broke. They got nothing. And you wonder how it happened. Well, it's because everybody wants your money.
Yeah, there was that 30 for 30, I think, about, like, rich athletes going broke. Bill Burr did a review on that. He said it's one of the funniest things he's ever seen.
The 30 for 30.
30 for 30, yeah. It's supposed to be hilarious. So, well, I guess according to him, but like
funny, sad.
Yeah,
like sad, funny.
Yeah, it's like you're just like, don't blow it, keep it simple, count your money.
There's a great line in the first episode of Ballers, Dwayne Johnson movie, because he basically plays that character. He plays a character who had it all, then lost it all, and is rebuilding it back.
Yeah.
And he's like, if it flies, floats, or drives, you lease it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to buy it, because that way, like, if something happens to it, there's a way out without losing all the equity that you would have put into like a house.
Yeah.
If it's a house, you buy it. But if it drives, floats, or flies, you lease.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, it'd be nice if somebody told Mike Tyson not to buy that tiger, because it's a lot of money and tigers die.
Yeah, because he was one of the first athletes who like made like tons of money. Like that was kind of unheard of.
Yes.
And but yeah, like he's like, but then like, you know, his manager, who was like basically his father figure, when he died, he was
Customato.
he was like leaderless. No.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point, right?
Yeah.
You have these kids out there who, I mean, I don't think it was a case of him being manipulated or him being
no, not at all. It was just like he just had
used.
He needed someone there, like like a rock. And when that rock was gone, he's like, he didn't know what to do.
He didn't know what to do with it.
Yep.
Oh, I think we had an issue with the camera being on. We're on now.
Yeah.
So if you didn't see any of that stuff in the beginning, it's just because our camera turned off. But we're back now. We're live on YouTube. So if you're watching, you're watching us in there. No, but it's a really good point, right? Like, if you've got a person out there who doesn't really have a whole lot, of prospects, or like a parent who cares about them or teaches them how to be a good human being, and then they fall into a system that they feel like, you know, the system not only takes care of you, but there are people within that system who are looking out for your best interest. Yeah. And then that goes away. All of a sudden you're back to where you were.
Yeah, your framework just falls apart. Yeah.
I've known people like that who were kind of like lifers. I knew one guy who was a military lifer, and when the military went away from him, when he retired after 4 or 5 years, I think it was 5 years. When he retired after that 5th year, he thought he was like no longer going to be a military guy. I don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
But you could tell he was the kind of guy who definitely needed it. He needed somebody to tell him what to do when he woke up, how to go to where he's going to go to, like what method of transportation to take, what to do all day long. And the second he no longer had that, it's like he just kind of deteriorated as like a functional human being. And then he had to find other things. I think last I heard he found religion. That's helping him out.
That's always the default route.
That really is, right?
Yeah, it is. Like, they're actually, I remember that in I can't remember when the NBA strike in the 90s, I think. The late 90s, when Sean Kemp was like, one of the best power forwards ever. Like when he in his prime, right? He was 6'10",
Yeah.
45-inch vertical. The guy could like just do anything basically, right? But when the strike came, he needed that the physicality of the NBA, the workouts, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And when he lost that, he just became totally overweight.
When he Yenny,
You wanna get him
Yenny's
in
gonna
here?
pop in real quick
Yeah,
too.
get in here, man.
Hey, buddy.
Yanni.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Well, that's really all we need for now. We'll get you on proper in a minute or two. Well, in a little bit. Yeah, when you're back. Yeah, no, I mean, like, that's a good example, right?
Yeah.
You've got a guy out there who really needs the structure.
He needs
of
the structure, yeah.
The training and, like, the coaching staff, the team, all that
Yep.
kind of stuff. Yeah, it's something, right? When these guys kind of... today I was reading or listening to the... I think it was Chad Mendez on the Joe Rogan show, who we listened to.
Mm-hmm.
That's another... if you haven't heard of that show, it's another podcast out there. Joe Rogan...
Joe who?
Joe Experience... Something Experience.
Okay.
But he's got a small show. And he has some small-time people on there sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Chad Mendez, apparently a fighter of some
okay.
sort. Anyway, he was talking about the idea that when you've got like the insurance for fighters, that when you because that's a topic right now in the UFC, right? There's a lot of issues with like fighters not being paid well, or fighters relying on fight of the night bonuses to actually make their career or make their personal life have any kind of meaning to. Not meaning to it, but like to have a home and feed your family and pay your managers.
Yeah.
All these team members you have around you kind of rely on you getting paid.
Yeah.
And if you're not being paid fairly by the organization you work for, then you're not going to be able to pay the people who you have to pay. And especially if you lose a fight because somebody drops out or somebody gets injured, next thing you know, you still have to pay your entire management team,
Yeah, you have to,
your
yeah.
agents,
Yeah.
your trainers, your training partners, people you bring in to help you out.
Yep.
But it's funny how like a lot of things rely on the people around you, but that's also what ends up costing you so much. Like Mike Tyson had all these people he thought he relied on,
Yeah.
and they cost him everything.
Everything.
Right?
Yeah.
At the end.
Yep. Yeah. There's I think people have to like just be. Just more and the thing is too is that one thing I've noticed is that in those situations, if you're in somewhere where you don't want to be, whether it's job wise and stuff like that, like I know it's obviously risk versus reward, but like if you're unhappy with what you're doing, where you are, where you're working, whatever, just get out of there. Life's too short.
It's really like it's taxing on the mental health of I think a lot more people than we realize.
Oh, for sure.
That when you're stuck somewhere where you think it's like a dead end job, you might not think you're depressed, but next thing you know, like you find yourself in a place you can't get out of.
Yep.
And jobs are like a big part of that, right? I mean, like a lot of people are stuck in dead end jobs that have no meaning. They have no like fulfillment.
Yeah, that's the thing too. People are like, well, why? 'Cause a lot of people make that mistake where like they go, well, they're working and they're like, hey, the performance is suffering. Why is that? I'm like, you know what? There's zero motivation for me to be good at my job. Like, just not for me.
Yeah.
So you have to have that honest conversation with yourself and be like, you know what? It's maybe I should move on because this is not for me. It's not you. It's me. Like maybe you have to do what makes you happy because if you do what makes you happy, you'll be good at it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's that whole line, right? That if you do what you love, you're not really working.
You're not working.
Yeah. If your job is doing what you love, you're not really working.
Yep. That's true. Yeah.
Weirdly enough, like about maybe 3 or 4 days ago, you know how you get your news feed, like crap comes up in your Google and all this stuff. That show, Million Little Things, I've no idea.
It, no.
I've never seen it. I had no idea what it was about.
Mm-hmm.
I see the commercials for it, but to me it was like another one of those like touchy-feely family drama bullshit things. So I just never got into it. But oh man, we keep losing our camera. But I started watching it, and it was not watching. I started reading about it, and it's literally that. It's one of those things where you've got a guy out there who seems to be completely happy in his life. He's I think he's like a banker or a lawyer or something like that.
Yep.
Closes a deal, goes to his balcony of his building, like he's got like a little area where he can like sit and relax and enjoy the cityscape, and just jumps off.
Oh,
And
really?
that's the first episode apparently.
Oh.
A guy just that's what like kickstarts everybody else trying to get their shit together.
Yeah.
But it's like you would think that that's just a dramatic moment engineered for an audience, but clearly, like I kind of feel like that's more common than not. That you think your friends are happy and you think they're doing all right, but all of a sudden,
yeah,
like
I totally agree with that.
100%, right?
Yeah, because like I think like that, and that ties into like what we talked about, like I think 2 years ago when we were talking about how the false like image that that social media gives people.
Yes.
Or that it comes off as.
Yeah.
So like it comes off as like people are posting their greatest pictures and stuff like that. That's not who they are. Like
No.
what's being represented properly. That's just people like posting stuff because they're just like they're bored.
Yeah,
Or
they have nothing better to
they
do
have
with
nothing else
themselves.
better to do. I'm like it's like those are some of the saddest people in the world.
It's there was a girl not too long ago. I remember there's an article in Vanity Fair or something like that where there's the same type of thing where she was a social media influencer and she was trying to sell the idea of who she was to the world, and then she had to come clean because like mentally it was so hard on her.
Yeah.
She finally had to come clean and say, look, this is all crap. I'm getting people to pay like $1,000 to come to these events where they bring like a bottle of wine and like they bring like a cheese or some crap like that.
Yeah.
We do a picnic in the park and everybody's pretending to be very happy. But really at the end of the day, nobody's actually, like, nobody knew who she really was.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like a, what's the word? The when you're giving, motivational speaker.
Mm-hmm.
She was a motivational speaker to all these women out there who'd show up to where she was to learn like the feet of the master type of thing.
Yep.
And she was not a master. She was just some like a college student who decided she could fake her way through this life. And it just got to her. Eventually she knew how much bullshit she was peddling and she had a breakdown. And then she had to write an article about it in Vanity Fair. And I don't know how real that was. That could have been a doctored article that somebody at Vanity Fair, or I don't even know if it was Vanity Fair. It was one of those fancy magazines from the States that everybody buys and reads. But it was one of those things where, you know, you're trying to live this character that you want everybody to believe you are, but it's completely hollow.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's so hollow that eventually you realize what you're doing to people.
Yeah.
And just destroyed her. It's like the lies she was telling were eventually going to like come back to her.
Yeah.
Maybe she felt like it was going to be like, you know, like somebody's going to figure her out. I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe that was her coping mechanism with
That could
dealing with
be it.
depression. Yeah, who knows?
But yeah, I mean, how could you not get depressed over that, right?
Exactly.
How could that not break you?
That would totally break a person.
Jeez.
And there was actually, you know what? I haven't actually read Vanity Fair since Christopher Hitchens was writing for them or posting articles in there.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was a while ago, yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah,
Jeez.
one of the great thinkers of modern history.
That was a deep cut, Christopher Hitchens.
Yeah.
But again, like I mean, did not take care of himself. Was not great to assist him.
No, it was sad. The
He
way
would light a cigarette before he was done his cigarette.
Yeah, but man, just the way he talked, he had more. What does Sam Harris say? He had more wit and charisma than some civilizations that existed.
Oh, get out of town. That's what Sam Harris said.
Yeah.
Sam Harris?
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Man, that's pretty wild. What's it feel like for you that we're back in a bar? We're
Good,
hanging
man.
out
That's good.
hanging out among people.
I feel like this is easiest thing to say is back to normal, but it's more like it's just like it just feels like this is what we should be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like a human being again.
Yeah, it's not like it's not I have to go out and stuff. No, this is where we should be.
I didn't think that I would love it as much as I'm loving it.
I'm exactly the same way, and I'll tell you why. Is because I didn't think I would miss it as much. You're like, okay, you know what? I would, I guess we'll go out and we'll meet up and we'll do whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
We honestly it sounds kind of weird that we took it for granted because it feels like something that would never be taken away from us.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really didn't realize how much how important it was to socialize.
Yeah, and just
until we couldn't socialize.
Yeah, like you can everything we're doing right now we can do at home.
For sure.
But it is nothing compared to when you go out and do it.
No, that's completely accurate. We are kind of I don't know about you, me, like I'm the kind of guy who will say I'm going to go somewhere. I'm going to do something with the friends. Mm-hmm. I'm ready to go. I'm going to go out and hang out and party and do whatever.
Yeah.
And then an hour before the event happens, I'm looking for a reason not to go.
Yeah, I have those moments. Everyone has those moments.
Everybody has those.
Everyone
like,
does.
I'm 100% in until I have to get out there and go, and I'm 100% out.
Yeah.
I'd rather play video games.
I'm pretty bad with that, man.
Yeah. But then now when it's gone and you haven't got it anymore, all of a sudden you can't help it.
Yeah, you're
Like-
right. It's when you get up. Now I'm just like, you know what? It's we're all like that. I think, in some form or fashion. It's not good because you come off. It can come off pretty bad, and so that's why I'm like, you know what? I should make a better effort to like really get. If I'm going to say I'm going to be there, I'm going to go out, we're going to do this, I should be there. So like I know for a fact, I'll put that out there. Like I should be better at that. So
Yeah, no, I think like now that we're able to get out there, you do really realize how much you should make an effort to hang out with your friends because it can go away so quick.
it is, yeah. Like it's so important to like, especially now because like we were so separated from like family and friends because of COVID, but now it's like take those opportunities and just be like, don't like, just because you're used to staying home and used to having a drink and just or smoking weed, whatever it is, right? Like, but make an effort to get out and like go meet with your friends, go meet with your family, go hang with people you haven't seen in a while, get in contact with them, phone them, don't just text them, phone them.
Come down to
Provincial. Just
Provincial.
Have a pint and just like have some, just chill.
I'm gonna butcher, but I believe it's 4211 106th Street.
Gabby,
We're good.
one another appearance. No, you want another? Want to be in the camera again? Yeah, go ahead. Gabby, anything you'd like to say?
Hi, everyone.
Gabby has been here for 3 years now. I think Yenny was letting us know,
Three
right?
and a bit, yeah.
3 and a bit, and she's gonna be moving. Well, not moving on, but you're going into nursing and gonna be saving lives and injecting people and making sure people are healthy and taking care of the fat slobs. No, they're not fat slobs.
I hope so.
I would hope so, right?
I would hope so, yeah.
That'll be rad. So I think like later on when you have some time, we'd love to hear about it. Get you down here and like sit down and talk about how it was like the transition of going from law into nursing. Yeah, that'd be rad. I feel like we're deer in the headlighting you. Like we're giving out too much info.
I know. I have nothing better
Right?
to do.
Well, I mean, it's a neat story though because you decided like midstream because I think this guy kind of
Well,
pushed you over the edge.
Yeah, I was doing like a major in psych, and then in high school and stuff, I was like, oh, I want to go into nursing, but there was quite a few people who talked me out of it, and they were like, no, it's like a very hard career path, like you need to be super tough, like all this stuff, and I was like, okay, fine. So then I started doing like with psych, and there's a program at the U of A, community service learning. I got super into that and super into volunteering with YRAP, which is a really awesome organization, I will say. And it's like a bunch of restorative justice and all this stuff. So I was like, okay, this is what like law would be perfect. It would follow this so streamlined. But then I was kind of like always in the back of my head, I was like, okay, well, I need to finish my degree. And then U of A has a 2-year after degree, or law is 3 years. Either way, it'll work out, whatever. So then, I was talking to you, and you were like, just kind of pushed me over the edge. She was like, yeah, law's good, but then you're putting 70-hour weeks and this and that, and like, you don't know. And I thought about it, I was like, hey, I'm seeing so much good. I see so much good from this organization, but there's times where really like there's not. And there's times where instead of like helping people, I'm going to have to like cut people or like stab someone in the back, which isn't like something I want to do. So I was like,
Well, it's not really fulfilling to feel that way about.
no. And
Yeah.
then I could see myself honestly, as much as I'd want to stay in like this like wholesome little bubble, you
Yeah.
probably like you slip, right?
Oh,
So
for
it'd be,
sure,
like,
right?
Sure.
a corporate stream or this or that, and I was like, okay, what's something I could do that every day I leave work, no matter how hard the day,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, I help someone. So yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
it's rare to midstream change a course, especially to be like, like sincerely wanting to help people. Yeah, rather than kind of, just deciding that you're going to go somewhere else, make a ton of money. Be like in law, because I mean, like money is a big factor, a driving factor for being in law school.
The thing about law is too is that money is not always guaranteed.
That's
Because-
right.
Yeah, because like it's like my niece. I was telling Vic that my niece just graduated from law school, and she's in California and has yet to find a job. Yeah, so it is very hard, and that's in California. But with nursing, your skills are universal, and you can go anywhere, work anywhere, climb the ladder, and you can make as much, if not more, than a lawyer, easily. So yeah.
And I hate to say it, but like, no, I'm such a feminist. I'm such a like, I can have a stay-at-home husband. Like he can take maternity leave, this, that. But at the end of the day, like I want a career that I could spend as much time with my kids as possible.
Yeah.
Right. And like and I'm not good with school. Once school starts, I'm like 24/7, no distinction between work and home. So like for work, I know myself. Like I would sit at home doing cases, doing files like all day. I wouldn't have that distinction.
Is there like law in your family's background? Like, was there something that drove you to that direction to begin with, or?
My cousin just graduated from law, so good for him. Yeah. And then my dad is he's retired now, but he was a police officer, so Yeah, I guess
So,
my
yes.
grandpa was RCMP, so like, yes. Like
Yeah.
criminal justice, I guess.
Criminal justice is in the family. So, I mean, it's only natural to want to be drawn in that direction. Were there any nurses at all, or was that like...
Yeah, I
Oh,
have,
wow.
like, cousins and aunts who are nurses, and then like majority are like teachers.
Oh, so it really was
cool.
like in stream.
Big
Yeah.
Mumble jumbo, yeah.
Wow, that's really something. That's cool. I always wondered about that, how people are driven to the direction they're in as far as like what their career path is. And it seems like a lot of times when you get to like law or nursing or doctors, it's always like a family. There's like a big family of doctors, or a family of cops, or a family of nursing, like something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something. That's really cool.
It's like funny though, because if you're looking for a career, sometimes you look to like who you know, right? So you look at your boss, you look at your family, you look at this, you look at that, and it's like so hard to kind of look outside of that bubble, and it
Yeah.
takes a lot, and it takes like a lot of influences and people you run into and people you meet talking about things and like giving you external opinions that maybe when you're 21 years old your parents don't give you, right?
They tell you what parents that tend to tell you, especially in our community, is that what they want you to do rather than like what you think is best for yourself.
For sure.
Or like what parent, like what, this sounds weird, but like what they wanted for themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Sure.
Yeah, no, that's pretty accurate. Because a lot of times you will have your parents try to push you into what they thought was going to be the best for them. And
Yeah.
it's not always the best for the kids.
Yeah, that's
right?
when their parents start downloading their own insecurities on you.
For sure.
And then you're like, oh, then you're paying for that. You're like, you know what? I didn't really want to do this, but my parents are forcing me to do this. My mom wanted to do this, but to make her happy, I'll do this. And that's the wrong way to live.
Yeah, definitely.
My mom wanted me to be a teacher so bad,
Oh, wow.
she started crying when I didn't go into ed.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No,
But-
continue with that thought. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's just like very crazy. And then kind of it comes to a point where you talk to, it's very hard to rationalize with parents. And I'm very, very fortunate to have like supportive and loving parents and family in my life. But like at the end of the day, there's certain people, and it transcends far beyond education and far beyond career paths, who feel so closed in themselves and are living like a fake self
Yeah.
because they're scared of their family and they're scared of what their family will say.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, that is definitely true. Like, especially in our community, it's like you have 5 career choices. So whether it's engineering, nursing, being a doctor, engineering, anything outside of that is considered kind of a disgrace if you don't do it, and that happens more often than not. And then be married at a certain point. As soon as you're done university, there's a formula you have to follow. If you don't, it's like considered shameful, for lack of a better term. Yeah, which sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, we are a STEM community.
Yeah, we are.
If you
Sciences. What is it? Sciences, technology,
engineering,
and math. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
If you're not really into those things, then you're kind of going to be not a black sheep in the family, but you're not going to be looked at the same as like if your cousin did it, or if you've got a brother who's into like a STEM career.
Yeah, you're not going to be like someone your parents are going to brag about. And,
For sure.
Brag to their families or other family members or your friends and be like, yeah, well, my son's a doctor. You're like, oh, my son's an engineer. Like, and then you're like, my son's
a content creator.
Yeah, my son likes to like go
Right?
on YouTube.
My son puts videos on YouTube and he paints.
Yeah.
And he's an illustrator. It's like,
Yeah, they're like
but
photographer.
he makes $1 million a year on TikTok.
That's
right?
true,
You never
yeah.
know. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, once I start selling more paintings, maybe. But until then, at the same time, you're not looked at as the same way you would be if you were an engineer or a
But
doctor
that's
or a lawyer.
Western culture.
Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, really,
Pretty
really
much,
is.
yeah.
That's like a Western influence where it's all like go to school, make money, get married, have kids,
Yeah.
retire.
For sure.
Retire.
Then you could relax. Then
Yep.
you could sleep. It's not like
Yeah.
in Europe, for example, or somewhere else where it's just so laid back.
Yeah, it is.
Like
Yeah.
people live in their parents' houses until they're 35, and that's
Oh, yeah.
totally normal. There's not this rush to move out at 18 and then make money and go to school and get a job and get married. Like,
Yep.
For sure.
It's so chill.
Yeah, especially in Amsterdam.
Yeah, Amsterdam is.
Oh my
They're all
god.
stoned, though.
Because even your parents,
They're all stoned.
What a better life.
yeah.
Right? Everybody's high as a kite
That's
all the
that's
time.
how they
and
settle
just
their
chill.
disputes. They're like they're yelling at each other. Then they're like, hey, I know how to settle this, and they just smoke up, and they're like, yeah, what were we arguing about? I don't know, but like, problem solved.
I don't know, it's all good.
That's all good.
Wondered about cultures that were like more open about drug use and like proper, like when you look at the U.S. when they've got like the age of alcohol.
Yeah.
Alcohol, you 21. At 21, you've got a 22-year-old who acts like a 16-year-old. Whereas over here, you've got 18-year-olds who kind of act like 16-year-olds. But by the time you're 20 or 22 years old, you're generally out of that mindset. Now, you could still find a bunch of assholes who drink and have a hard partying time. They come here and they get wasted, get kicked out, and whatever. But I mean, if you're more into like properly educating your kids and students and children how to use and how to drink and like responsibly.
Yeah.
I wonder about those cultures and how I've never really looked into it, but it seems like they tend to do better.
They do.
They tend to be more responsible at younger ages.
Yeah, because they introduce like a work-life balance where it's
Yeah.
like you, like I understand like when you go to university or going to work, you put your hours in, but like afterwards when you're done, the recommendation is to like chill out, go travel for a bit, relax at home. Don't put everything. Your work is not everything.
What I mean is I wonder how many more people there are like the idea of being chronic. Like chronic drug use or chronic marijuana use, where there are people out there who rely on it just to get through the day. Here,
That's true.
especially, right? I've got a
Here
guy
they
who
do,
I know.
definitely here they do. In Europe, it is like complete opposite.
It's more recreational
Yeah,
use.
it's more like there's trust that this is just like I need this just to get by, but when the grind comes back, they're good to go.
They're okay.
Yeah, like look at Germany. Germany has if you go to Germany, like especially in Berlin, look at the Autobahn for example, right? Germany has no speed limits, but like they have no speed limits, but there's very little accidents.
Yeah, more responsible
Yeah,
driving.
up to North America, we have tons of speed limits, and we have tons of accidents.
Telling a little kid not to do something.
Yeah,
That's all
exactly.
they want to do.
That's
and
true.
Then, like, don't eat the Smarties out of the pantry. They're going to overdose on Smarties.
For sure.
All they want are Smarties.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but even like with sex,
Yeah.
like if you're so closed with your kids about like sex and it's bad and this and that, that's so bad. Your kid knows nothing about STDs.
For sure.
Your kid knows nothing about like preventing pregnancies, this, that. There's so much. And drugs,
Yep.
right? Like if you just say to your kid, never have drugs, never do drugs, and story.
Yeah.
If you don't say, here's why, or if you want to try it, let's try it in a safe environment.
Yeah,
Then like, I hate to say it, but like your kid's gonna go to a party,
for sure.
do a line of coke,
Yeah.
and hopefully it's not laced.
No,
Yeah.
that's pretty accurate. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up with tons of kids like that whose parents held them too tight, and they just went too wild the second they had a chance to get out.
Yeah.
The second they were 18 and all the reins are off, and you're out the door, it's just madness.
Yeah.
And it doesn't turn into good young adults.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you're released at 18,
Yeah.
which is like, which happens a lot.
Yep.
There's no like, you're just like, it's like a body without a skeleton. It's just like there's
For sure.
There's nothing keeping it up.
The wind hits.
Yeah.
And you're just gonna flap away.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Just loose skin flying into
Whoever
the.
was there is gone.
Yeah,
Right?
gone. Yeah, and
Yeah.
just sitting next to a pile of cocaine. Yeah, so
Oh man.
yeah,
Scarface.
yeah, exactly.
Full Scarface.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't.
Brutal.
Yeah, there's very little. Some people just, in layman's terms, some people just not have kids.
Oh yeah, no, I
Yeah.
think there's idiocracy, right? The whole
Yeah,
idea that
exactly,
you've
yeah.
got these people out there who are too busy being successful, so they don't have kids who they can properly educate into being contributing members of society. And then you got hillbillies out there who just run wild, 30, 40 kids, and they're just licking lead chips. They're eating rocks, and they got dirt in their hair, and then they're just
Yeah, they're having
full of maggots.
Yeah,
You never know.
banging each other. Yeah,
Just making more idiots.
Yeah, making more idiots.
Falling over each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that? That was Cletus, wasn't it? When Cletus had all the kids, or Lisa? When they had the vision in The Simpsons, when they had kids in the hillbillies?
Yeah. Lisa had it, but it was Cletus and
They
his.
clunk their heads together and
Yeah.
fall out the window?
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah, there's too many people out there just like
Don't get a third-story
who should-
apartment.
Yeah, who should not be like procreating. They're just making one loser kid after another.
Brutal.
Yeah.
That's harsh, man.
Well, that's the sad reality.
Well, I think what we're going to do is we're going to shut the first part of the podcast down.
Okay.
We're going to watch a bunch of the fights, and we're going to come back in a little bit and just update, and then maybe get you back if Gabby's free to come back later.
If you
Sounds
would,
good.
if you would
Thanks
ki-
for having me.
if you can
Thanks for
kindly
letting
join
me
us afterwards.
crash.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, the crash is, we kind of were, there was somebody in our ear saying get Gabby into the podcast and get her on the camera. And
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
long as I didn't crash and burn.
No.
You did not crash and burn.
No.
It was an invite. You were here for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're always welcome. Yeah.
Cool. All right, we'll be back in a little